All right, welcome back. Let's welcome back in my good friend from a year ago because I haven't talked to him for a year, Coach Carrick. He's from coaching at St. Ignatius in the city of Chicago, and he's also a lacrosse coach, state champion, too, I believe.
Correct. Two-time.
Two-time. Did you guys win it this year too?
We did.
Now you don't coach lacrosse at St. Ignatius, though, right?
No, I'm at Loyola.
Hmm. Is that
Actually,
a rival between them?
oh yeah. I was gonna say, I realized you're wearing your York stuff. I don't know if your kids actually watch you, if you get any grief for being the two-sport coach.
Oh, I do. I was the three-sport coach. So the COVID year, I coached football at Addison, boys basketball at Nequa, girls track at Nequa. And then the school year, I coached football at Addison, basketball at Nequa, baseball at York.
Oh, 3 different schools.
Because the track at Nequa, basketball is different in the suburbs. Because where I'm from in Central Illinois, you're done with basketball about February. Up here, you're done in like March. Like it's and so it was the first track meet was like the second week in February. And so I wasn't going to be around for it. So they were like, you can't do both. You got to pick basketball or track. And I said basketball. I'm not going to,
Track's not a real sport.
I was a throwers coach and I'm like, whatever. And then York needed a baseball coach. And so I was like, I've always wanted to coach baseball. I played it. I always wanted to coach it. So we were just talking before we recorded. It's desperate to find coaches. Coach Kalau, he's the head baseball coach. He couldn't find coaches. So he was like, hey, you are a coach. I've been coaching for 13 years. He goes, I'll teach you the basics of it. You'll figure out the rest. So he's like, I need a freshman B baseball coach. And I said, cool. But yeah, 3 different schools. So I will get grief. Now, my baseball kids watch this, so they'll see this or listen and be like, oh, that's cool. The other kids watch. They don't like York, so there's that little, yeah.
Oh, I get that. That's a full closet full of coaching swag as well.
Oh, I hear about it all the time.
I have the issue where it's similar school colors, so I always have to double check in the morning to make sure I'm grabbing like the right pair of shorts and the right hat to not show up in the other school stuff.
Yeah, see, I didn't have that. See, so my closet for this year was Addison is like navy and white, navy and gray or whatever. Nequa is gold and blue, and then York's green. So it was just this mixture. And so it came to the point where I couldn't hang it up in the closet anymore. You just fold it and put it somewhere.
Yeah, but now my coaching stuff has its own area of my closet.
Oh yeah, it's like coaching stuff, everything else. So it's all right here. But now I got a basketball job at Addison, so now we can eliminate one of them. And Elmhurst and York are right by each other. It's like 8-minute drive. So
yeah,
doesn't matter. But yeah, so I feel your pain. But
I used to be at both at the same school, so at least it was by choice.
Yeah, see, I go where the money is. We don't coach for money, but at the same time, I'm over doing it for free. So it was, oh, you're going to pay me to do this? Yep. Going for it.
Oh, for sure. One year I made the mistake of tracking my hours to try to do like the hourly, and never again will I do that.
No, it's depressing. You don't want to see
it. It was awful. Especially all the time, like, watching film and like printing stuff up and doing scheme stuff. You're like, oh, those hours count too.
Mm-hmm. It's not just the 2 hours you're at practice. It's well, you talk for a half hour afterwards doing film. You go home, you're doing this.
Well, that's the part my wife doesn't understand. She's like, we've been together forever, right? And she's still like, you said practice ended at 7. I was like, yeah, but that usually means I'm not walking out the door till like 8.
Yes. But same thing. I thought practice was over at 6, and so you'd be home at like 6:30. I was like, no, we're on the field. We're done at 6. Then you got to put everything away. Then you have to make sure the kids go home. Then you're in there talking about practice. You're talking about what you're going to do tomorrow. And then now it's 7 or whatever. But then you get home. Why do you have your computer open? Well, now I got to watch the practice. Now I got to do this.
Never ends. And I could be doing more time. That's the hard part.
Well, when I work at a school district, anytime I have, I can sit in the back and just do what I need to do. No, I mean, I work the whole time.
Whatever.
Hey, it's considered schoolwork, in my opinion.
It's true.
Hey, you know what? I don't clock out at 3:00. I'm continuing to. Hey, I don't have my summer off. Some of these teachers that don't coach, they have all this whole June off. I haven't stopped. I don't stop.
Yeah. I mean, between, so the state title game was on a Saturday, and then we started camp that Monday. And so there was literally no break between the two sports.
Like football camp, or do you do anything for
Yeah.
lacrosse in the summer?
And so I used to do a separate like summer season, that was another paycheck. But no, now because Illinois has 25 days over the summer, that's a full summer. So as soon as the high school season ends, our football season starts. Camp starts.
Camp.
If the IHSA is listening.
They don't care.
No, that would require them to do something.
Yeah, but anyway, I haven't talked to you since the COVID year because I think we were literally getting done with COVID year. And I don't know about you guys. For me, I don't remember. You may not remember. I don't even remember. Track ended on like a Thursday or Friday for me. And I was like, okay. Well, then that Monday was like June 7th or something. It's still ingrained in my mind because it was like, okay, football starts. I said, what? Yeah. And then June 8th, basketball starts. And I was coaching at a different high school still. I was still coaching at Equa. So for me, it was like I got done with track. I had no girls going to state. I got my sectional meet done. No throwers were going to state. I was like, oh, I can have like a week off or so. And then we were in June. He goes, nope, football's on Monday. You got to show up. And it was like camp. And then basketball, you start camp. And then Nequa basketball, you'll play 60 to 90 games in June. They'll schedule that many basketball games.
Oh.
And so for me, it was like I think this June is bad. Last June, after going through the COVID shit, it was bad. I'll never forget going to football camp, and I was talking basketball stuff. I was like, okay, now you got to go set a pick. And they're like, what? I was like, oh, wait a minute. Never mind. No, that's something else.
If I'm remembering right, we may have talked in the middle of the COVID season because I think I remember us both being 0-3.
Oh, maybe it was during football. Maybe it was. Yeah.
I think that sounds familiar. We may have just been going back and forth on Twitter.
Maybe, because that's my other problem is I'll reach out to people and then I forget I'll forget driving home. That's my big problem.
Oh, I'm the worst. It took us like 3 times of interacting. And this morning I was like, shoot, like I completely spaced out with everything else going on.
No, you told me what was going on. It makes sense. It's the people that are just like, here's what happens though. When that happens, I think I've said something on my podcast because I do it by myself to piss people off. You know what I mean? Because I'm slowly getting to the point where I'm starting to air more grievances and more opinions, and I piss people off. And I'm at a point to where it's like, well, if I piss you off, though, have a conversation with me, talk about why I made you mad. You can correct me or make me think differently, and then we'll be friends again. I don't want to piss people off to like get to that spot.
Your really strong opinions about the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Or that. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Here's my cool ticker. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Damn.
There you go.
I feel official now.
It's so official. It's just going to do that over and over again.
And I'm going to sit here. I'm going to read it the whole time every time it scrolls.
I had to make it orange and blue because of Illinois. So there you go.
It could be a good year for Illinois. Not to jump, but we're looking at Big Ten football.
Yeah. The only one that'll be disappointing is Nebraska. I think Nebraska's terrible, but it's just my opinion.
Well, maybe Brett will put it together.
But yeah, Illinois. I actually got to talk to Coach Miller, the O-line coach there. That was one of my last people I've gotten to talk to. I talked to him. Was it during basketball season or right when I got done? I just tagged him on Twitter. I said, "Hey, I want to ask if you want to come on." He sent me a message. He was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So from talking to him and then watching their spring game with some of the guys they have transferred in, it looks better. No offense to the old OC, but bringing in UTSA's OC helps. Watching what they want to do. And DeVito, the quarterback that transferred in from Syracuse, people bashed him a lot. And I said, hey, he's not going to come in and be a Heisman Trophy winner, but he's going to come in and at least be better than what Illinois had. Brandon Peters can't hit a barn if he threw the ball right at it. Statowski,
don't dog my boy.
actually, I didn't really mind Peters at all. It was when he got hurt and we had to put Statowski in, the guy that can't hit a 3-yard hitch. At least Peters could hit a 3-yard hitch. Statowski couldn't hit anything. He overthrew a guy by 2 feet. And then I'll never forget this. And I'm sorry to keep interrupting you. It was 3rd and 8 or 4th and 8. And he threw it to the 3-yard route. I'm like, what are you doing?
I mean, that's the coach thing, though, right? You're like, we need 8. Why are you throwing it 3? Just don't be dumb.
No, I didn't mind Peters. It was just, I think him getting hurt all the time just really messed with him. Coming into last year, I was fine, but he just kept getting hurt.
I really liked him at Michigan. He showed promise. He got demolished against Wisconsin, and I want to say he may have been concussed, but then was never quite the same after that for us. And then he transferred, and I didn't quite follow his career at Illinois as closely.
Was that the All or Nothing show when they did at Michigan? Was that when he was there, or was that somebody else?
That was, why am I blanking? Wilton Spate and John O'Corn. I think that may have been the year before.
Yes. Peters was either a freshman or he came in after.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm getting old. I'm getting my Michigan quarterback lineage messed up. Not that we've had many great ones, but recently.
But I mean, you had one this year.
Cade was nice. I hope he continues to be nice. I hope they figure out it with JJ McCarthy, product of the Chicago Catholic League, to make that work.
I think you guys will. I think Jim Harbaugh kind of taking a step back from the outside looking in, just kind of letting the offensive guy do his thing. I think that really opened up Jim Harbaugh to be the CEO and allowed them to do their thing. And I think we were all Michigan fans that day when they played Ohio State, because I hate Ohio State so much.
Everyone does.
I was so happy. I was at basketball and we had a basketball practice that morning, so I missed the beginning of it. A part of me went back, why do we have basketball practice right now? Don't you know what's happening right now? It was 11 a.m. And I'm like, don't you know who's playing right now? And so I was the guy checking my phone. I just kept going. Because we had a kid that's a big Ohio State fan on the team. So I just kept looking. I was like, hey, guess what's happening? Hey, guess what's happening? I was being a jerk. I was like, hey, guess what's happening?
Oh, I have so many players that are Ohio State fans because they've only known Ohio State as what they are now.
Right.
And yeah, that one felt really good.
Yeah, they're poised to have another big year. I think Michigan will be poised to battle for Ohio State for that.
Well, we replaced both coordinators, so that's tough. But the talent is there. I think the hires were good too, but we'll see how it all comes together. And our non-conference schedule is awful. Awful in the sense of we don't play anyone with a pulse. I think it's like Hawaii, Colorado State, and whichever directional MAC school they pit us against.
Yeah, but that's confidence that gets built when you play those teams.
Well, assuming we win them. Oh, it's UConn. Sorry, we don't have the MAC school.
Oh, well. Is that really
UConn almost beat us last time.
Who, Illinois? When did we play you guys? The COVID year? Or was that before? It wasn't last year. Was it?
I don't think so. I don't know about with you, but with COVID, everything both seems like my sense of time is completely off.
Yeah, because the COVID year, Michigan did not do what they killed Minnesota and then just kind of struggled from there. But they only played like 5 games.
Yeah, because we ducked Michigan, or we ducked Ohio State. That's right. We beat. Now that I'm looking it up, we beat Rutgers in 3 triple overtime. God, that season was awful.
The last time Illinois played Michigan in football was in 2019.
Yeah, ended the way it should have.
42-25, Michigan. But that's what we had. We had Lovie Smith, so does it count? Does it really count?
Okay, and we've got you guys back on the schedule. Oh, we have Illinois the week before Ohio State this year, so that'll be interesting.
In Michigan this year? It's all right. That's okay. I feel more confident this year than last year.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, Illinois opens up with Wyoming, so hopefully. Then we were supposed to play somebody, then they got switched to Indiana. Can't remember who we were supposed to play. We were supposed to play a Big Ten team, but it got switched. Then we got to play Chattanooga, Virginia again.
I just looked it up. I was worried your Wyoming game was going to be in Laramie. I was weirdly working in Wyoming during a football season. Playing at Wyoming is really hard. That's the highest, the FBS stadium at the highest elevation in the country.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very proud of that.
It's interesting. No, thank God it's at Illinois.
Yeah, the first time I was out there, I went for a run when I was in decent shape, and I think I made it 4 blocks before I had to lay on the sidewalk because I wasn't used to running at altitude.
I do that with no altitude. It's fine.
Fair. But that's a tough game. That's why you always see teams struggle at Wyoming early until usually, depth and everything else comes back into play.
Well, our line coach, Coach Miller at Illinois, he coached at Wyoming before he came to Illinois, I think.
Okay.
But no, Illinois, I think, will be a bowl game this year. Just watching their spring game, who they've got. Coach Walters, defense coordinator. If they didn't give an extension, he was gone. How well Illinois' defense improved since UTSA and Virginia, when we gave up 40 points both those games. But the big quarterback play is going to be huge. But we have to replace linemen. But they've got a couple transfers in from junior colleges, and one of them, his last name's Chrysler, I think. I think he came into Illinois when he transferred in here this year, in the winter or in the spring. I think he was 400 pounds. And now they've trimmed him down to 340 or something.
Okay. He just had a bunch of bad weight on him. I guess that makes sense.
He's going to be the left tackle or right tackle or something. So it's huge.
Yeah.
But we're ranked second to last or third to last in the Big Ten coming in. They came out with that, and that's fine. It's whatever.
If you get solid footing and make a bowl game, that's probably great.
I think we're either above Rutgers or Northwestern. It was something like that.
Northwestern had a rough year. But speaking of linemen, we actually have like a 4-star recruit that every coach in the country has like been in to see. And I think your Illini were like his second offer. They were in early.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Actually, I don't know the rules. Am I allowed to talk about this?
Getting recruit. I mean, it'd be no different than the kid posting on Twitter like, "Hey, I've talked to so and so," and I like it's no different.
Yeah, but he's a defensive lineman. As a sophomore, he was 6'5", 315.
Wow.
And can move.
And you guys run the Flexbone with that kid. How dare you?
He's primarily defense. But I think his freshman year, he played B-back, like our fullback. And trying to watch Catholic League freshmen try to tackle him was entertaining.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, you're the tech guy. So you're the... I tried OBS stuff one time, and it's just too much for me. It's just...
It's a lot. It's a lot even for me when you like Google it and you're like, I know it can do this and I know it can do almost anything, but you have to, like go through the forum posts to figure out like, the one person that knows how to do it.
I tried that when me and my friend do the Marvel thing. I tried to figure out like, because he had that the snow microphone or whatever that is. And for some reason, it won't work on the StreamYard. So we could never do it on this. So I always did Zoom. And Zoom is fine. But then I have to edit it a little more. Like I like this one where I have my background and stuff. So like it's whatever. And so I tried one time, like, hey, what if I just do... Because the Zoom recording is all weird. So I was like, what if I just do OBS? And so I tried it and I tried to do this. And it was just a lot of putting in things and making sure and then like it might work with the Apple computer, but the HP, like sometimes the Zoom wasn't, I don't know. I wasn't doing it right. And like, you're right. I got to Google, I got to watch YouTube videos. And I'm like, this is too much.
Yeah.
Because I watched you and I watched Mackie when he does his Madden thing. And I'm like, how do you guys have this all set up so beautiful?
You do it all in the beginning, right? It's all the prep work that goes into it. It's not, I think probably the StreamYard and a lot of other things. It's just like you can pick it up and do it. Because it's already configured for you kind of thing.
Well, StreamYard, like I didn't do it this time because just in case I have to edit it, but like you can click a video as your intro. It will kick us off, mute us, does the intro, and sends us right back in.
Wow.
So like when you do live, so like if you're doing a show live, it just automatically does that. So that's why this is Coach Steve friendly, so I can just click on things and do that.
I've been kicking around. There's content I want to make and like interviews I want to do that I'm hoping I can do this summer. People email me all the time. They're like, hey, can you do this? Or like, do you have answers about that? I was like, I don't have the time. Even like, they're like, hey, like we'd love more Air Force content. And I was like, I barely have enough time to do like one of the service academies. And then I always tell myself I'll have more time in the off season. And we both know that's always a lie.
Yeah, it's a complete lie because, like I said, the first time I reached out to you was probably during my off break between basketball and baseball. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, everybody has the same amount of time as I do. They can hop on and we can talk. Well, obviously not. Then like Coach Hines, he said he'll come back on. So I sent him a text today and I'm like, hey, you want to come back on? He hasn't answered, but like next week, I'm going to tell him, hey, I can only do Tuesday night and all day Friday. Like that's the only time I have.
It's I have learned it's a lot easier to do someone else's show than to produce your own.
Yes. And I am unfortunately the guy that nobody wants on. So I have to do all my own.
That's not true.
I'm just not well established like you guys. You guys are all big time. I don't have...
I don't know.
I'm not big time.
You'll get there.
We'll see. We'll see. Because my podcast is all over the place. It's let's talk football with coaches. Well, I'm going to come on here and tell you about college football. That's why this is the Joe Rogan. We said this before. I said this before. It's like the Joe Rogan style type where I'm going to do everything. I don't care. I really don't.
Yeah, people tune in to what they like.
Well, I was going to say though, like for you on your Flexbone, like to do all the plays, that takes a long time.
Yeah, I started out when I had a job I didn't really like, so I was spending a lot of my work hours putting those together.
Gotcha.
That is harder now, but yeah, it's fun using the different technology. Like I don't want to get in on your interviews or podcasting. As fun as that is, like I like talking to people, but yeah, there is kind of that tech part I enjoy too of like producing it. So I might try to do a few more interviews. I know I actually, God, I don't know if he listens, but our starting varsity quarterback is someone I actually want to sit down with just to be like, hey, now we're just doing an interview. I'm not your coach. We can just talk for like an hour. So we'll see if I'm gonna make it happen, and if it's bad, I just won't release it.
I don't get a lot of views, but I still do it, and my hope is just one day it takes off. That's why I just keep doing it. But I also enjoy it. So you can release it and then be like, "Oh, I got one view. Okay, I'm not going to do it again."
Yeah, it's all
Which
practice.
Yeah, which won't happen because you have a somewhat established YouTube channel, so I don't think that would happen. But believe it or not, and I got to be careful how I phrase this, just in case. So I'll just say his name's Coach Grayson. He knows if he listens, he's going to know. He was coaching at Bolingbroke. We were talking about he was a linebacker coach at Bolingbroke High School. Well, then last year, one day I'm just throwing through Twitter in the summer, and I look, and I'm like, wait a minute. He posted something. I'm like, is he not at Bolingbroke anymore? Where is he? And I clicked on it. Oh, he's coaching at Morton and Cicero. I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's in our conference. Oh, I have to coach against him. That's cool. And so now I have to be careful, like if I post anything about what we do, because he might see it. And I'm not going to be mad at him if he sees it. I'm like, I would do the same thing, but so I got to be careful about what I say.
Maybe I just have the arrogance enough that it's like if people listen to what I say or videos, right? It's like I still think I can beat you. Just because you know what I'm doing doesn't mean you can stop it.
Well, because you're going to be very proud of me. But anyway, like in the off season, we really sat down as an offense and we said we've got to change something. We've got to be different. We got to do something. We were just your typical lineup and shotgun. Because I think when we talked last time, I told you our tight end who was like 6'4", 200 pounds, tore his ACL.
Oh,
yes. He was going to be our guy, like go online, put his hand in the dirt and do all that. Now he's coming back. We got him back. He's all good now. He'll be a senior, but we had to be different. So I actually had to look at option stuff and I had to look at different things. So I had to break the spread code and start to look at certain motions and go out of wings and do this. So if he is listening, we are going to shake it up. So I had to break the code.
And I actually think the D coordinator from Fenwick left to go to Bolingbroke.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, it was weird when I saw him. So now, like when he came to our field, and I told him before the game, like, take it easy on us. And they won by like 40 or something. We had like 4 kids get knocked out of that game. Our backup quarterback broke his collarbone, and our tight end hurt his ankle, and so I went up to him after the game, and the first thing I said to him was, "I said to take it easy on us. What are you doing?" But I will say this: class act. After I said that, he goes, "Hey man, I'm sorry." He goes, "But how are the kids?" Like he immediately was like, "How are the kids that got hurt?" Like he didn't even care. But there was just one day I posted something about offense, and he put a GIF of like taking notes, like he's watching, and I'm like, God dang it, can't post nothing.
You'll be fine.
He's just doing it to push the buttons, but like he's just like, I'm taking notes.
Do you guys do summer camp against, or do any either 7-ons or like full on camp with any other programs in the summer?
Last summer we did a joint practice. We did two of them. The first one, nobody had their helmets back yet from sending them in, so they brought their team over. And we just did they did a couple drills with the skill guys did drills, and then the linemen, we took them to our practice field and we did a couple of things. Yeah, so we did. And then the second joint practice, we were in helmets and shoulder pads at that point. But yeah, we did. And then we're going to do at least one this year, like a joint practice with the same team. And I think we're only going to 1 7-on-7. I think we really don't go. There's no point.
7-ons aren't really our thing either. I think we might do one or two, but we do the last like 3 days of camp. We go up to St. Norbert in Wisconsin with St. Viator.
Okay.
Which previously was, I'll say innocent for lack of not being able to think of a better word, because we used to not play them, and now they're on our schedule.
Okay.
So we went last year, and it was the first time that we knew we were going to meet in the season. We came out on top of the season meeting, and now we're doing it again this summer. So I'm curious on how that's going to shake out.
That's interesting that he kept that it's being kept. Not to get you in trouble, but like I'd be like, okay, we're playing each other now. We need to.
They're great. If anyone from St. Viator is listening, right? Like their head coach is great. I think he had originally set it up. He's a St. Norbert alum. And I think we just said like, hey, if you're cool with it, we're cool with it. Maybe we, reevaluate next year. But it's interesting to get that experience of an opponent in the preseason, just to kind of get like an idea of where you're at.
Right. Well, we talk about competition. That's probably real good competition knowing you're going to play them again. Like set that standard of like, hey, if they kicked your ass or we kicked their ass, like, but hey, like we're going to play them again.
Yeah, that's it'll be interesting, I think.
Yeah, we one school we did it with was Lake Park, which is like right by Addison. The kids grow up in the same towns, then half go to Lake Park, the other half go to Addison. But at least they were cool. Like the coaches were fine, the kids were fine. The second one we did was with Mattia Valley, which is here in Aurora, right down the street. And the coach there, when he was way younger, coached at Addison. So there was like this little connection. I liked joint practices when it's helmets and shoulder pads. The one where we didn't have helmets and shoulder pads, it was more like we did competition. So like you threw a 20-pound weighted ball, whoever throws it the farthest. You did tire flip, and we did pass protection stuff like, one-on-one, but it is what it is. We had the helmets and shoulder pads on, though. It was like team versus team. And you can't call it a scrimmage. It's just called like, oh, we're doing an inside run with some wide receivers and see what happens.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head, right? Like you need to have the other coaching staff needs to be of the same mindset on what it is and how it should be done.
Well, we were lucky. Like our head coach, he's coached at Addison since 2012 or 13, so he's been an assistant. He got the job in January of 2020, I think, is when he was officially hired. So he's still a young head coach. Like we had to go through the COVID year, and then last year was like we still didn't have a true off season because that was the other thing in the summer. We still had to wear masks for most of June and all this stuff. Yep. And so this is like a true off season. But luckily, so that was his first joint practice because before they never did it. So what was actually really nice was the Lake Park coaches have done a joint practice before. So when they came in, they gave ideas as soon as they got there, like this is what we have done. And Mattia did the same thing. Like they like Mattia, when we went there. He was like, "Hey, we've got it set up. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We've done this before. We'll show you." Like, so it was really cool of like coaches being like, "Hey, we've done joint practices before. This is how we've done things." And all the coaches there were not over coaching. Like you're coaching, but they weren't like kick their ass or do this. It was helping each other out or like giving our kids props or like help. Like so, it was pretty cool. And I've seen some joint practices though where it doesn't go that way. Like it gets too personal or it gets too competitive. But like you said, like to have coaches around that have done it before. So now we're going to do it again with the same one of the same schools. We won't do the Lake Park one. They got a new head coach, so we didn't know how that was going to work. Mattia has the exact same head coach. They were talking about West Chicago. The guy told you he went to West Chicago. They want to do a joint practice now, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, we're 2 weeks in now. I'm like just trying to do math while my light is glaring me in the eye. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited for the season for sure. We have a really good senior group.
You guys made a run in the playoffs this year, didn't you?
Our first playoff win in school history. IHSA playoff win.
Yeah, not the Catholic stuff back in the day.
Yeah, not the Prep Bowl. Back in the day, it's still going on. But that was a big deal. We had a big upset win over Mount Carmel.
That's right. I was trying to keep up. Like guys I have on the podcast, I try to keep up if I can. That's right. I forgot.
Which people will always. I'll always remember that Mount Carmel win too. The better win of the season was the week before at Marmion, also in your neck of the woods. Coming back from down 16 in the fourth quarter. I've never been a part of anything like it.
That's awesome. Because not to piggyback off, or your guys' basketball team had won state this year too, right?
They came in second, third.
Because they just came to a shootout at Addison last week. St. Ignatius was there. And I saw the state shirt, and I was trying to remember what they did. I couldn't remember.
I think they lost to Sacred Heart Griffin.
Sounds about right.
I forget if it was in the state title game or in the semis. I want to say it was the semis.
I was going to say, at least, I think they made the Final Four at least. I think they were.
Yeah.
So it's just been a good sports year for football and basketball. But football especially, I remember you guys were good this year.
We did a lot of things that were fairly good. We had some things break our way. We had some guys break out. We made a quarterback change that really benefited us. One game away from an undefeated regular season. So we'll be looking for revenge this year.
Quarterback change. You guys don't throw it. Why would you need?
Well, they still have to run it and make good decisions.
Nope, that's what I ran the option before, but like I have to figure out how I want to do it out of spread and all that stuff. So don't worry. I've been watching all your guys. I try to watch people's stuff. I'm stealing, trying to figure it out.
I get people that message me and email me all the time with like either ideas and concepts or like questions or just like, hey, I just picked up a team or like, started coaching a middle school team and I want to run the Flexbone but don't know where to start. So there's a lot of like spread and pistol things out there.
That's more what I was looking at was pistol. I can't convince myself to go back under center. I'm not to that point yet, and I may never get
give
to
it
that.
Time.
That's whatever. I haven't got to that point yet. I personally love pistol option stuff. I really do. As much as I love spread and running the ball from spread, and I love pistol stuff. So this offseason, I was, of course, researching my zone stuff. I was dabbling into try to do wide zone and all that stuff. But I really want to look into. I was looking more into option. and wham. Instead of running traditional trap, I want to run wham. That's the other thing.
Like last week, I think I came across like a Chris Alt, like 2000s, early 2010s, like Nevada playbook. Like would have been like the Colin Kaepernick era. I think that's like right what you're talking about.
That's the type of stuff I wanted to look at. Like, we have to be stupid simple. Like I'm a stupid simple person with the kids we have. We have to be even more stupid simple, and we have to be different. So I don't care who listens. We have to be different. So there'll be some tweaks hopefully made. But don't worry, I'm coming back around. See, this is what happened. I coached in a power eye option. I played in it. I coached it, and then when I went to Charleston, we were a pro style I formation, sometimes shotgun with 2 running backs, tight ends. And then I kept researching spread, and I was like, nope, this is what I want to do. So it's like forbidden fruit. When I came back around, I'm like, nope, I want to be 4 wide. I want to be this. And that's what I like. Going East 2018, we went 9-0 doing that. We had 3 formations, and that was it. Trips, 2x2, 5. That was it. We didn't, whatever. But we did it to run the ball. So that came me back around to running the football. Then I go to Addison, and it was more of the same of like, we're going to run the football, but we still want to throw it. And then this year it's going to be, I have to be very creative in how I'm going to run the football and get other guys the football. That was the big thing. Like, how do we keep kids out for football and get them the football without putting them in the backfield and tell them to run downhill? So I have to come up with those unique ways out of spread. So we're slowly getting closer. Like, it's coming back in. Like, we're going to add wings. We're going to add this. So it's, I think you and I might have talked about it before. Like, football is making a full circle of like coming back to buck sweep option stuff. And that's what's happening.
Well, because every defense has gone, nickel 4-2-5, right? So as the defense is spread out to fix it, all right, now we're going to pack everyone back in because you're spread out. It's the cat and mouse game.
Well, we see a ton of 3-3 or 3-5, tons. I see that 6 or 7 games this year. I will see that.
We I think we played Bremen twice. I think they based 3-3. Vider bases 3-5 or 3-3-5.
Yeah,
but then we also see, the defense of the week junk fronts every week, so
yeah, you'll get unique things. We're playing a new team this year at the very beginning. Playing Maine East.
Okay.
Everybody has stuff on YouTube now, so I watch the YouTube stuff. They hop in different stuff, but most of the conference we're going to see is running a 3-5. Everybody's going to that 3-5, and when I see it as an offensive person, I salivate. But then once I realize they have like good linebackers, I'm like, oh, never mind. This sucks. But I see that's all I see is a 3-3. So like right now I'm installing run stuff against a 4-man front, but I'm like, we're gonna see this. We even had a team all year be in a 4-3, 4-2-5 look. Then we play them, they hop in that 3-5.
I actually think our old athletic director is at Maine East, so I'll be cheering for you guys that week.
Week one.
I'll make sure that I'll set the score stream updates. I'll get him in the booth.
Be careful. Be careful what you're going to look at. I only have 1 offensive line starter back, I think. So I'll tell you this. We have 5 seniors.
On the offensive line?
No. Not one of them are linemen. Not one.
So you have time to build the program and build them into the linemen you want them to be. It's just going to be painful to get there.
Especially when I have to do defensive line, too.
I'd imagine a lot of those are the same kids.
Yes, they're just going to turn around and...
Yeah, because you guys don't 2 platoon, do you?
Nope. We do not have... What was it last year? Last year, I think 2 of my offensive linemen started on defense, and then the rest just kind of rotated. So at least I had the opportunity to, like, talk to some of them, and then when the others got rotated out, I had to grab them and talk to them about offense. But what sucks about that is they're on defense right now. So, like, whatever I say about 6 plays ago, They're not gonna, doesn't sit with them.
Yeah, we last year made a kind of a hard decision, or we decided to try to go as close to two platoon as possible.
Hmm.
Like I think we only had two-way starters. Some guys I would sprinkle in and here and there. And the hardest thing we found is just like practice. How do you share athletes? How do you get good like scout reps? How do you make sure like you're covered in everything you need? Which has been challenging, but I'd argue we probably don't have the season we had last year without two platooning.
No, when I was at Lombard East and we went 9-0, won the first playoff games for them since 1999. We were 10-0 at that point. We had good athletes, but I firmly say that like it's a game changer when your entire offense can come off the field. We had one lineman that was like good on defense. They would sometimes take him, but when you have 10 of the 11 come running off and you can sit there and talk to them, and then defense does the same thing, that is a game changer.
But even just to get a break, like our players, like it hasn't quite set in on them yet. Even though they like went through last season, where they're still like, our defense. We've had a few defensive guys. They're like, but I think we can be like I can be valuable on offense too, and we're like, probably, but like you could just be fresh on defense all game, and so when the other team is tired because they're going both ways, we'll still be all right.
Right.
And like that mentality hasn't quite sunk in yet.
I had a mini heart attack. I heard static again, so I just plugged everything as hard as I could. And I think it's gone.
All right, good.
I think technology, but yes, that we want to do that, and we went in last year in the summer saying that like let's try our best, at least line wise. We were trying to think like, okay, if we have to play the wide receivers on defense more, do that, but the big guys up front or whatever, we have to try to get them not to go both ways, at least start. If they rotate, that's fine, but there has to be a point where all five come off, talk to me really quick for a minute, and then start rotating them in. So we had good intentions, and then it just didn't go that way. We had guys get hurt. We had like I said, last year was the rough, because when we talked, we were 0-3. Last year was the roughest year for me personally. Not record wise, we didn't win a game, but it was injuries. It was numbers. Like I've never felt that way. And I coached at my high school, which has 300 kids. So like I was like, it just, like I said, I think we talked like that first game, I had 3 kids or 4 kids get knocked out. And then we played Morton week 3 or whatever. We had more kids get knocked out. And then as it progressed, like one game we were down to our 5th string. We had to put in a wide receiver at quarterback. Like that's where we were. And
I've been there.
It was so bad. And so it was like very stressful. And some of us coaches, we get after it after practice. We're sitting in the office. There were some things being said back and forth. And then it's airing it out, and then you move on. But it was very rough to be down to 4th or 5th string guy and be like, we just rotate receivers in at quarterback. But I will say this. We had this kid who he volunteered. He's like, I'll do it. He's a slot receiver. He goes, I'll do it. I can't remember what we did. I think we tried to throw it. Pocket collapsed. He like squatted down to get hit. And the 2 defensive guys jumped. But since he squatted so low, they like jumped over him. And then he took off for like a 65-yard touchdown because they were all like gone.
Okay.
And that was like the only time we scored. But it was like, okay, cool. No, I think we scored 14 or 21 that game. I don't remember.
Didn't the Broncos have to start a wide receiver at quarterback last year? Or was that the year before?
I think it was COVID year. I think they were down to.
Yeah.
We had to do it. We were like, okay, how are we going to run the ball? But we still have to throw slants. We have to throw something. They're just going to stack the box. And, it was so bad. Like, it was so rough.
But it is crazy. So, like, our practice plan basically, like, we run 2 separate practices, right? There's an offensive practice and a defensive practice. And then we just have to figure out where the kids that are doing both jump back and forth. but we essentially get double the time with our offensive guys. So yeah, it's good for the starters who are getting more time to like figure everything out, and it's good because we can get younger guys reps. We'll see. I hope we're able to stay healthy and kids come back from vacation and whatnot, and we can keep going this way.
Hopefully, Static's back if you wanted to know. Maybe it's me.
I'll talk really close. But
Maybe it's me. I don't know what to do.
you were talking just scheme wise. Have you ever looked into or done any run and shoot stuff?
I have not. I have talked to people. I've had Coach Clark, Justin Clark, on here before to talk to him. I've looked at the route. So here's the thing. Have you ever talked to a run and shoot guy before?
Like a live synchronous conversation? No.
They are not allowed to tell you about their pass protection. They will lose their run and shoot card if they ever that. You cannot find that anywhere. And I asked Coach Clark about that, and he said, like, yeah. And even on Twitter, if you say something to them on Twitter, because somebody posted on there like, "Where's run and shoot stuff?" and he commented on it and said, "I can tell you everything but the pass protection and stuff. I can't tell you anything else. Nothing."
Yeah, I think that they're kind of that way. Double wing coaches are kind of that way. Right? I'm sure if I committed the time, I could like figure it out. But that was my off-season project because we wanted to revamp our passing attack. Is looking at like how they run their routes and their plays and what their reads are and how they're breaking off routes because of it.
Yeah, it's a lot of choice routes. It's a lot of reading stuff. There's a couple similarities between it and the air raid stuff. Like the white cross stuff is very similar. But they don't have very many plays. But yeah, that one I'd be scared to because I'm afraid of like read routes. I'm more of the air raid pass concepts because they're easier.
I just heard a air raid book recommendation. I feel like it's like a foundational book, but I don't know why I hadn't heard people recommend it. Have you read I think it's The Perfect Pass?
Yep.
Is it on the bookshelf?
I'm looking.
Is it worth reading?
I think so. It shows you a lot of the plays. Now, of course, half the book is going to be about how Mummy got where he is, but it does tell you where is it, because there's another one too. Oh, there it is. Yeah, this one.
Yeah, Gwen. Yeah.
Yeah. It tells you history of air raid, how he found it. He went to BYU and saw what they were doing. Yeah, like you get diagrams in there. Like, hold on, like you get that.
Yeah, it's a book for coaches.
Right. But the weird thing is, like right now, it's showing you how they ran it with a tight end on the line of scrimmage and two running backs in the backfield. Like that's how it started.
Yeah.
And that's why if you look at air raid, you see a lot of the running backs do those swing routes or shoot routes because they originally started in the backfield. So he's like, how do I get them involved? And that's why I love their quick game stuff, because the quarterback only has to read the flat defender. I love it because you're putting it in conflict. Another one about the same type of thing is Stretch the Cornfield.
I don't know if I've heard that at all.
It's a smaller one. It's similar-ish. It's been a long time since I've read it. This one, more about that stuff. But there's a couple things in here that tell you like wide receiver stuff, like what he's talking about where he throws it. So they both kind of go hand in hand.
I love that stuff, and I'm like, I always have things I need to add to like, a Christmas list, right? Like my in-laws always ask me what I want, like when birthdays and things come up. So I always try to keep a good stock of books. When I actually have time to read them.
I have tons of books here. I don't even know. Some I like that have nothing, like It depends on what you're looking for. I have books like I loved Ed Ogeron's book. Loved it.
Yeah, I did too, actually.
It's great. Can you hear his voice in your head as you're reading it the whole time? That's
The
what I did.
entire time. It was almost like a book on tape.
It was the whole time I'm reading. I'm just hearing his voice, and I'm like, I would love to talk to him in person. Just depends on what you're looking for. I don't know. I like this book. It may not be what you're looking for. Coach Hargett, he does this one. It has different plays,
Okay.
throwing plays. The surface to air system. It's that guy. You ever seen that?
Okay. I think so.
Adapt or Die's good.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of really good books, but then I also feel like there's equal, if not more, terrible football books.
Yeah, the R4 system, the adapt or die stuff is really good. Good passing stuff, telling you routes and how to do that, like with the R4 system. Like when I saw it's Dub Maddox, when I saw him speak at a clinic up here right before COVID, he like got the whole room speaking his language. Like it was like, and it shows you like when a route is capped, when a defense is lined up, that means this route's capped. You're not even going to throw it there, like all that stuff. It's good, but it's one of those books where you have to reread it. Like I have to reread it in order to like learn it because we don't run it. Like that's not what we do.
Well, also, I I have to tell my kids all the time. I was like, my perfect game, we don't throw the ball once. Because that means we're running the ball so well, we don't even have to think about it. So I like the passing stuff, but to a point, you're just like, well, I need like a small menu of plays of just, right, how can we make one play, we either wrinkle it or how do we make the reads within it? So that's why I got into the run and shoot stuff where it's like, oh, this is actually like 3 plays in one based on how the defense is going to align, which is kind of takes that whole option methodology. So I'm like, okay, I can get behind this.
Yeah. How Mummy does that now. He has incorporated the run and shoot with his air raid. So you'll see on his like mesh, he no longer has like an out route. The guy is doing a choice. So the quarterback can even signal it to the guy what he wants him to do. So like if you come up and the guy's right on top of him, he can signal a dig or whatever he wants, and they're on the same page. He did it that way. And then I've also seen it where, like you're talking about, where you're reading where they're lined up, you're going to run this instead. But I think the reason why because I think Coach Mackey put out there a long time ago when this happened, he had the quarterback signal it or tell the guy what he wanted, so that way they're on the same page. Not the quarterback's going to read it wrong and see that.
I mean, I don't know about you. I don't know how many high school quarterbacks you're trusting to call their own routes.
If I ever did that, I'm like, you get 2. You're allowed to tell them to do 2 things.
So our head coach will audible from the sideline, but it's not like a true like the quarterback's in control. It's like we're calling a second play from the sideline. So it's either like call the play we've already called or call what we're telling you now.
Right. Like forget that one, do this.
Yeah.
No, the run and shoot would be good for you guys and a Flexbone. I like the air raid stuff because
we stole some concepts. Surprise.
The quick game stuff that's what I steal. That and White Cross. Steal it all the time.
Yeah. And our pass protection is definitely getting better, but it's like we're not making 3 reads, right? Like, yeah, you're reading the corner, you're reading the overhang, or you're reading the safety, right? It's if this or that. Like, that's the entire game. So.
Yeah, because you guys are a run team, so you're not too worried about it.
But our quarterback can sling it. I feel bad for him sometimes because he could be a very good spread quarterback. He's a very good quarterback for us. He does 7-on-7s and does the more pass-oriented stuff,
But it's good though that you're talking about throwing it here and there to feed into what he can do. Some coaches that run your guys' offense won't do that. They're like, nope,
Well, and he's got wheels. Like I think he ran a laser timed 4.7.
Wow.
So we're just like, oh, maybe we can roll you out, and then like
Mhm.
you have your one read. If it's not like Michael Vick style, right? If it's not
Mhm.
there, just run. Get us like 4.
Right. Like
So
this guy's not there. Cool. Run.
so we'll see.
Run.
It's an evolution, and it's weird for our head coach and I uh, to agree to do that.
Um, but yeah, if I were, I mean, you probably looked it up. Coach Clark, he's now a college coach. He's like a college wide receiver coach now.
Hmm.
But he'll respond to people about the run and shoot. Believe it or not, that Coach Caduti, that's the wide zone guy. He runs the run and shoot type stuff. Believe it or not, I think.
Oh, I was mainlining all of what Coach Mackey threw out there. I forget the coach's name. It's something Greek. Marquise. I'm gonna butcher it and look it
Oh,
up later. But
I don't know. Coach Mackey was supposed to come on here last week and never said anything to me. So
did I see he's not coaching this fall?
he's not. He did post that he is not.
Man,
He started his own little. I don't know if he started this business or if he's doing something. He's doing something with making money some on the internet.
OnlyFans.
He started in OnlyFans. I don't know. It's called like if you click on his Twitter. I'm sorry, I'm being creepy right now, but if he posted it. It's called like 92 Media, and it's about like growing an email list and doing this and doing that, and
Oh, so like real people work.
real people work.
Huh.
And he'll do stuff for YouTube too. Like if people want to start their YouTube, so he's just kind of doing his thing. I know he's probably like most educators, and it was like education is not going well in the world, so it's probably time to get out. But it also depends. Some schools don't let you coach unless you're a teacher, and he might be in that same boat. Illinois is great where you don't have to be a teacher to do that. So,
Nope.
like in Texas, you do. You got to be a teacher. I don't think you do in Indiana, but that's what's great about Illinois. The only thing great about Illinois, everything else sucks.
Well, it allows me to coach, so I'm all right with it.
You can coach and pay high taxes.
Oh yes, 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 we can, in every way possible.
In every name a tax, and it's high.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. But yeah, I can't think of run and shoot guys. Besides that, there's not a lot of them. Another guy that's good with passing stuff is Coach Patrick Taylor. He's a high school offense coordinator. He runs air raid stuff. But the first time I ever talked to him, he goes, "Yeah, I'm an air raid coach, but my running back had 2,000 yards running."
But like it was the throw to open up the run, right? Isn't that kind of the whole shtick?
Yeah, because he's like, I'm not an idiot if I walk up to the line. Like you talk about air raid coaches, like so there's some that are like, we're always going to be 4 wide, we're always going to do this, we're always going to do that. He's a guy that said, if I have a kid that can catch and he can block, I'm running pro style stuff. Like he's going to be hand in the dirt. We're going to run right behind him. Like I'm not an idiot. And so
That's kind of the Bryles idea, right? I know it's
right.
kind of persona non grata, but
I don't care. Do you deserve a second chance? Probably, but
awful clinic speaker. If you ever get a chance, don't hear him.
Really?
Super boring. Doesn't tell you anything.
No, they
There's my hot take that people will come after me about.
No, they keep it close because when Babers came to EIU, they only gave you like the little snippet, which their offense is nothing. It's choice routes and bubbles. So
None of us invented anything new. We all stole it from someone and, saw something on YouTube one day, right? Like nothing's new. We're all just repackaging things.
No, there's just tweaks like I put on Twitter the other day, can somebody send me wide zone clips so I can have something? And they did. He sent me 200 and some clips. And
I've had people send me all kinds of film.
so if anybody's listening, I'll take a bunch of film. I don't care. But there was a couple things I had questions on because they didn't do it the traditional wide zone way, and so I was like, well, "This looks interesting." So I had to ask him. You could try to run pin and pull stuff off of it. And I was like, "Oh, like wide zone stuff off of that." So like you said, people put their twist on it and tweak on it, and they figure it out, and then I steal it, and then I try it, and then it doesn't work, and I look like an idiot.
Yeah, or you get a coach who like grew up as a wing T guy, but then is forced to run spread, and he's like, well, but I could just like do some wing T stuff over here, like, and it'll work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how things happen.
That's what I'm doing this year, and I lose sleep over it. Not really though. We're still gonna be a zone team.
We last year we played Bremen twice, but they're the first real wing T, like true wing T team we've played, other than like JCA.
They run the wing T at Juliet.
Oh yeah, they are very, very well.
Okay, I didn't know that because the OC at Lombard East now, he was the head coach there for like 10 years. Like years ago. This was before our times. I won a state title with him. But he run like the diamond stuff, like the pistol diamond stuff.
I think JCA's been wing T since like Mike Allstott was there.
Okay. But they get athletes.
I'm not from around here. That's just what I think.
I'm from Central Illinois. Like I only heard of like one or two schools up here. So coming up here, I have to learn all these suburbs. So you don't have to learn all these suburbs. At least you have your little Catholic league going on.
We travel far and wide. I still need to learn them.
You guys can play Lombard West. You just get them on there.
They're 8A, aren't they?
Oh yeah, we play them. Our conference is in two. There's a gold side and silver side. Gold side is Addison, Leiden, Morton, Cicero.
Not Glenbard West.
Not Glenbard West. They're on the other side, but there was a permanent crossover, and for some reason, Addison and Glenbard West was the permanent crossover.
Their head coach was a Glazer speaker.
Mm-hmm. Coach Hallett, Chad Hallett.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
He was on a panel with our head coach, so I got a chance to hear him.
Because because you two run similar offenses. He'll run unbalanced wing stuff, flexbone stuff. But they're good at it, and they get athletes. They run a 3-3 stack. They're good at it. They compete for deep run playoff runs. And then York, where I coach baseball, is on the other side of the conference too.
Gotcha.
Speaking of York, I know their head coach. I want you to take a guess how many football players he's going to have come out at York.
Program wide or varsity?
Program.
$200.
Close. He's going to have 210 out. Because when I coached baseball there, he came up and talked to me a couple of times, and he goes, "How's your guys' numbers?" I'm like, "Well, we're working to get kids out. The kids that are there are good workers, blah, blah, the whole spiel." And I was like, "How many are you going to have?" He goes, "Oh, God, I have about 210. And I said, "What? Do you even have enough equipment?" He goes, "Nope. I'm not going to have enough." He'll have
supply chain shortage, right? You can't get anything right now either.
I think he's going to have 80 or 90 on varsity.
York has a solid lacrosse program. My former boss's son plays on the team, so I've been out to York a few times.
Nice school. It's a nice looking school. It's huge because the middle, that looks like a college campus, and they have their athletic side. Well, when they build, they don't upgrade the old stuff. They just continue to build onto it. So that's why it looks that way. Then you're inside of it. You're like, oh, it looks brand new when you get into the back because they add on to it. That lacrosse turf field they put out there is brand new. That was never there before. The baseball team won regionals and sectionals, I think, or lost the sectional championship. Soccer won state there. I didn't know lacrosse was good though.
Yeah, the last couple of years they've been pretty good.
There's too many sports there for me to keep track of when I show up. I'm like, I'm just here for baseball.
We have like 35 varsity programs at Ignatius. I don't know how they do it, but
How was your guys' bus? Do you guys have any bus issues?
always. We were really lucky. We were going to the Marmion game,
Mm-hmm.
and our lower levels left like before us on the same day. And they call us and they're like, "Oh, the bus thought they were going to Marion, which is like the opposite direction." So we get on the bus and we start talking, and I was like, "Just want to confirm, which high school are you going to?" He's like, "Marion." I was like, "We're going to Marmion. That's an hour the other direction."
Mm-hmm.
So between that and then just buses like not showing up, being late, it was awful. Oh, we had a bus like break down. We got a bus driver fired like right after our trip home. Marmion almost drove us back in like short buses. They're just like, "We need you guys out of the parking lot."
Yeah. Football, we never had an issue for some reason because I think the school district has their own buses. It was just lower levels did. Let me say that varsity football wasn't gonna have a problem. It was freshmen because they weren't gonna get a bus before 4 or whatever. Like they have to drop kids off or whatever. At Nequa for basketball, we request a bus at like 4:30, and they said you'll be lucky if it's there at 4:30. Like the earliest, that's the earliest it will be there. What was I going to say? This was fun. Didn't get to do as much Michigan talk as I wanted because we talked ball, but I was going to talk Michigan basketball next because that's what I hate.
Well, let's I think that's definitely worth a conversation. We shouldn't wait another year to do it.
Yeah, but thanks for coming back. Took a lot of your time. People still go check out Flexbone101 YouTube, even though he hasn't done anything for a while because he's busy.
There's more coming, maybe.
Well, I'm saying you're doing stuff. You just had a coach lacrosse state title.
Yeah.
You were busy.
Trying to tease content.
You'll have something come out, but there's stuff out there. But thanks for coming back on. Guys, go check them out. YouTube's Flexbone101, Twitter's Flexbone101. Go follow, do all that stuff. Thanks for coming on. Thanks, guys, for watching or listening. We'll see you guys next time.